your story, listeners. Here's a yummy and a heartwarming folktale from Britain, An Apple Dumpling. Once upon a time, there was an old woman and she loved to eat an apple dumpling for dinner. One day, she decided to bake an apple dumpling. She looked about and she said, I have plenty of flour, I have plenty of butter, I have plenty of sugar too, and I have even plenty of spice. I could make 10 dumplings, she said. Oh dear, I do not have apples. In the old woman's backyard was a tree full of plums. You could never see plums round and red than those. But you could not make apple dumplings with plums, isn't it? Agnes could not stop thinking about wanting an apple dumpling. She had an idea. She took her basket out to her backyard and filled it with plums. She covered the basket with a white cloth and hung it on her arm. She said, there may be those in the world who have apples and who need plums. And so she went out the door. Before long, she came to a yard with many hens and many geese. What a noise they made! Caw, caw, quack, quack, caw, caw, quack, quack. In the middle of all these birds, there was a young woman. She was feeding them corn and she waved to her. And the old lady waved back. Soon, the two women were talking away. The young woman told the old woman about her hens and geese, and the old woman told the young woman about her plums and how she hoped to trade them for apples. If she could trade her plums for apples, she might have an apple dumpling that very night. Ah, said the young woman when she heard this, there is nothing my family likes better than plum jelly with goose. But I have no apples to trade for your plums, she said. The best I can give to trade with is a bag of feathers. Would you take my feathers for your plums? Well, it is not apples, thought the old woman, but why not? One person happy is better than two who do not have what they want. The old woman gave all the plums to the young woman. She took the bag of feathers, put it in her basket, and went on her way. The old woman said, maybe I'm no closer to an apple dumpling than I was before, but at least I'm no farther away, and feathers are more light to carry than plums. Everyone knows that. Trudge, trudge, up a hill and down, past a farm and past a brook. Then such a lovely smell filled the air. Ah, the old woman came to a garden gate. Roses, lilies and lilacs. Oh, never had she seen a more wonderful garden. From the garden, the old woman heard the sounds of a man and a woman talking loudly, arguing. Cotton, said the woman. Straw, said the man. And so they went back and forth. Then the two of them saw the old woman at the gate. Here is someone who can help us decide, said the woman. She opened the gate. Good mother, she said, if you were making a cushion for your grandfather's armchair, would you not stuff it with cotton? Cotton? I don't think I would, said the old woman. I told you so, cried the man. Straw is the very thing, and you need to go no farther than the barn for it. But Agnes shook her head disapprovingly. Nor would I stuff the cushion with straw. Oh, said the man and woman. They did not know what to think. The old woman took out the bag of feathers very quickly. I have something better, she said, handing it over. Here, a cushion stuffed with feathers will be the one that is fit for a king. My goodness, said the man, what a fine cushion they will make, said the woman. They were very happy and asked what they could give the old woman in return. If you must know, apples would be just the thing, said the old woman. That is what I am looking for. But we have no apples, said the man. At least, let us give you something for the feathers, said the woman. The man and woman cut one flower here, another there. Soon, they had more lovely flowers than their arms could hold. Oh, never was there a sweeter bunch of flowers, and they handed it all to the old woman. A good bargain, said the old woman, and not all of it in the basket. for she was glad that the two young people were now happy with each other. She wished them both well and went on her way. Soon, the old woman came upon a young lord, dressed in fine clothes and with a gold chain around his neck, but such a frown on his face. He looked as if he had no friends left in the whole wide world. "A fair day and a good road, my lord," said the old woman. "Fair day, good road," said the young lord. "Maybe for you, but not for me. The court jeweler did not finish the ring I gave him to make, and now I must go to my lady love with nothing in my hands to give her." "Is that what is the matter?" said the old woman. "Then you shall have a gift for your young lady." The old woman handed the flowers from her basket to the young lord. "Though I may never have an apple dumpling," the flowers made the lord so glad that he smiled from ear to ear. The young lord said, "A fair trade is no robbery." He took the gold chain from around his neck and put it around the old woman's neck. Then the young lord skipped away, holding the flowers to his chest. "Ah, it's a gold chain!" cried the old woman. "With this I will be able to buy all the apples in the king's market I could want, and even have a few coins to spare." She hurried to the town as fast as her feet could go. But the old woman had gone no more than the turn of the road when she came upon a mother and her children standing in a doorway. Their faces were very, very sad. "What is the matter?" she asked as soon as she reached them. "Matter enough," answered the mother, "when the last crust of bread is eaten and not a coin left in the house to buy more." "What a day," said the old woman. "I cannot think of eating an apple dumpling for supper while those near me have no bread." She put the gold chain into the mother's hand and rushed off. But the mother and children, every one of them laughing and happy, ran up to her. "We have little to give you," said the mother, who was the happiest of all. "But here is a little dog. His barking will keep loneliness away from your house, and our thanks goes with it." The old woman did not have heart to tell them no. So into the basket went the little dog, and very snugly he laid there. A bag of feathers for a basket of plums, a bunch of flowers for a bag of feathers, a gold chain for a bunch of flowers, and a dog for a gold chain. All the world is give and take. "Who knows if I may have my apple dumpling yet?" said the old woman as she hurried on. Sure enough, the old woman had not gone a half a dozen yards when right before her eyes she saw an apple tree as full of apples as her very own plum tree was full of plums. This apple tree grew in front of a house as much like her own as if they were two peas in the same pot. And on the porch of the house sat a little old man. "That is a fine tree of apples you have," called out the old woman as soon as she was close enough to talk to him. "Aye," said the old man, "but apple trees and apples are poor company when a man is growing old. I would give them all if I had even so much as a little dog to bark on my doorstep." "Bow wow, bow wow," barked the dog in the old woman's basket. And in less time than it takes to read the end of the story, the little dog was barking on the old man's doorstep. And the old woman was on her way home with a basket full of apples, and the next thing you know, she was making her apple dumpling. She took 2 crisp red apples, she de-seeded them, peeled them, and cut it into small pieces. And she sprinkled the apples with a teaspoon of cinnamon powder. She took 2 cans of crescent rolls, and she rolled the apples into it. And now she prepared the sauce. 2 sticks of butter melted, and 1.5 of cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla sauce. She whisked until the sugar dissolved. and in a baking tray, she crept the apple rolled crescent rolls, and she poured the cinnamon sauce, and she put it into a baking oven at 350-degree Fahrenheit for 35 to 45 minutes. And out came cinnamon smelling apple dumplings, and she had them with some homemade vanilla ice cream and cinnamon sauce. I just can't imagine. The old woman said, if you try long enough and hard enough, you can always have an apple dumpling for supper. And she just not had delicious apple dumplings, but a very heartwarming apple dumpling in exchange for so many happy things along her way. So until next episode of Stories and Poems from Story Island, signing off from you, storyteller Abhi Kumar. Don't forget to try the apple dumplings.